One. Hello again, Tropics fans, and well, we've been waiting 5 years to say this, a special edition of Tropics Weekly. It's the playoff edition as your Florida Tropics get ready to head to Kansas City, and there they will meet the San Diego Sockers as the MASL moves to the semifinal rounds. And no need to really introduce who we have with us today. Head coach Clay Roberts, Tropics fans know him well, and Clay, exciting for the team. Thought we would get there last year. The pandemic had different ideas, but how exciting is it for you to finally get to the postseason here in the MASL?
Yeah, Brian, thanks for having us. Obviously, you know, we're thrilled. We're thrilled as an organization. We're thrilled as a team to have the chance to play in a playoff, especially in the global environment that we're in with this pandemic, and to move forward with the league and move forward with this season. Kudos and thank you to all the owners that kept our game alive, and obviously our owner, Dr. Yakovitis, for trusting us and giving us the resources to stay safe and do the best that we can. So we're thrilled to be in a playoff. It's been a long time coming for the Tropics to say that as an organization, and a lot of hard work and hours behind the scenes, on the field. So just, you know, really, it's, you know, it's an exciting time.
Is that a playoff beard I detect?
Hey, whenever you get here, you do everything, right? So absolutely, it's a playoff beard. You know, you go to every little thing that you can, and no, we're hopeful. We're hopeful.
It'll be in Kansas City against San Diego. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you guys have been off again now for be almost a month again. And yet you went to California in the middle of March and I think played maybe your two best games of the year after not having played for almost a month. How reassuring were those two games in Ontario in the middle of March to you as a coach, just saying, hey, even though it's been an uneven schedule and we're not playing, you know, as regularly as we'd like, we can still give a pretty good effort?
Yeah, no, you know, we're as confident as ever. You know, and what you said is correct. We had a couple weeks break before we went out to Ontario with those two big back-to-back games to end the season. And what we talked about going into that weekend was, hey, we're going on a trip in a 2-game series with two different opponents. And if we win, we get first place. And so all the cards were on the table, and you know, that rest let us get our legs back under us. Let us prepare specifically for those opponents. And as you stated, and I'll confirm, I think they were two of our best performances of the year. And so we're not, you know, 100% bummed that we have had this break since those games. Would have been nice to keep some rhythm, but we have trained really hard in this time. The guys, I give credit to the guys. You know, I've tried to keep them in a playoff mentality during this break. And it's something that we've referenced, that if the other teams are in a mindset of, hey, we're playing, that we need to be in that same mind frame and mental focus. And so last week, going back to last week, while the other teams were playing in a first round and having to give their best effort, we were doing the same thing in practice. And the week prior was building up to that. So we've just tried to emulate what the rest of the league is doing so that we mentally weren't, you know, sitting off and not being pushed, you know, and so we hope that it pays off for us.
San Diego finishes near 500. I mean, not a typical San Diego year, but we know they're very good. They played well last weekend for sure in winning 2 overtime games against a very good Tacoma team. You guys played here in Lakeland earlier this year. What, if anything, did you learn from that game that you can take forward perhaps into these 2 games this weekend?
I think every game this season has been a learning process. And I think our team especially, you know, we've gone through COVID, we've gone through injuries, we've gone through bringing in other players to help us because of those injuries. And so for us as well, it's been a year of, you know, of figuring out who we are. And so I think as we go into the series against San Diego, the last time we played them at home, we had those 3 games in a short amount of time. And they were the better team on the day and got a great win in overtime. And I think learning, in those following weeks about who we are, and new players being added in, the comfort level has gotten to where we need it to be, and the understanding of how we want to play, and everybody's strength is also there. And so, I think we're excited about the opportunity to play San Diego again. We've had the chance to play the other opponents that we've lost to. We've played St. Louis and been able to come back and beat those guys in the series we had against them. Tacoma, we were able to go back out and win a good game against them. And so San Diego really is also a team that, hey, we want to get a little revenge on as well. And if it happens to be in a semifinal, so be it. Again, we know they're a great team. They got a great organization, great coaching staff. It's going to be a great game. And so we're excited about the opportunity.
How about the matchups, just with your side and their side? Do you like that? And again, is that something you can use to your advantage a little bit, or is it just too even on paper to call an advantage one way or the other in the matchups?
When we looked at it yesterday, we had the entire team in the office. We watched all the games. We had great discussion, good food, just, saying, okay, we get one chance to analyze this. And the matchups were, a lot of the discussion. Every team that's in the semifinal is a great team, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And we feel like it's a good matchup in personnel. I think that, to be fair, against Ontario, we feel good about the matchup. We've been able to play good games against them. Kansas City, we feel good about the matchup. And we just think timing has a little something to do with our selection as well. And so, San Diego is a great team. They got a lot of veterans on the field, a lot of playoff experience. And so we just like the matchup against them as far as the personnel goes, and we're excited to play in that playoff game against them.
How about the roster as it looks heading into Thursday? I know we've had some guys out. Maybe you can give fans an update on the roster and the health of some players that we have obviously missed here during the regular season, and whether or not maybe there's a chance we'll see them here this postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously there's a couple names that come to mind that have been out, to be honest, a lot of the season, the majority of the season. Drew Ruggles, defending defender of the year of our league in our league, has been out since really the early part of the season with a really bad ankle injury. And so he's been back in full training. He's looking himself, and definitely will be available for selection this coming week. As we get into Kansas City, he'll be on the trip, so you'll see Drew back with the group. Also returning from an injury since really the 3-game weekend that we're watching, Guilherme Dos Santos, one of our big goal scorers, took a calf injury. Really, it was a re-injury in that weekend, which has set him back for some time. And so Guy has been back in practice and shooting to his capabilities. And so the Tropics are at full strength. I don't think we have anyone out due to injury other than Lucas Teixeira, who suffered the injury to his wrist, which required a surgery and doesn't allow him to play with it. And so apart from Lucas Teixeira, the Tropics are at full force, and we're excited to bring all the options to Kansas City.
If you look forward to these 2 games, maybe one or two keys from your perspective, which might be the difference. Play smart, be aggressive, but not overly so, I guess. What's the message to the team as you head there, and one or two of the keys as you see them to coming home with a win and then back hopefully to St. Louis for the championship weekend next weekend?
Yeah, I think a couple of the keys that we've been talking about is just being us. This game is no bigger than the last game we played. In a sense, it's an opportunity to play a game during a pandemic where a lot of people are, still in quarantine, still suffering. And I think we said early on in the year, we want to be a beacon of light in this time. and our play needs to show confidence and joy on the field. And so I think us being who we are going into this series is a big thing. There's no pressure on us whatsoever. We've never been here. And so we can be a number 1 seed and have a semifinal or bye to the semifinal. But for us, we don't feel any pressure with it. We're excited about the opportunity as a club to go and perform. And if we are ourselves and relax, that's going to be a big key for us. And then just secondly, the confidence. A lot of people could say, hey, it's their first time in the playoff. How are they going to react? And for us is that let's be confident. There's a reason we're in the playoff. There's a reason that we're the 1 seed. There's a reason that we have 10 wins in the season. And that's just by us executing and enjoying the moment. And if we can, continue to train hard in preparation and this week get here finally, let's just enjoy it. We're excited to go to Kansas City. We're excited to play and play San Diego. We're excited to watch Ontario and Kansas City play and know that the best team will win. And if for us to be the best team, we've got to be focused on all, on all cylinders and execute on the detail. And so I think we'll execute on the detail and enjoy that opportunity just by being ourselves like we have been all year.
Well, not only are you guys excited, but the fan base is excited, and I know we'll all be watching Thursday afternoon, a 3:05 kickoff Eastern Time, 2:05 out in Kansas City Thursday afternoon, and then Game 2 will be Saturday afternoon, again, 3:05 start. And, of course, for fans that may not be familiar, the way it works is if the 2 teams split those games, there's that ever tense, ever exciting, not something coaches look forward to, but it's high drama as a 15-minute mini game would ensue after that game Saturday afternoon. Let's hope it doesn't quite get that far and the Tropics can take care of business in 2 games against San Diego. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate your time. We wish you guys, of course, great luck. And if all goes well, let's do this again next week.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Brian. Thank you to all the fans this season. Thanks for all the support. We need it. And I hope you're watching and know that the guys are excited to go and perform.
Well, we will be watching, and it'll be fun, and congratulations on another great regular season, and finally the playoffs for the Tropics in their 5th season now in the MASL. That'll do it for this edition of Tropics Weekly. We will be back next week with another edition. We hope it's a championship one, and if it is, we'll talk about it then, and if not, we've got plenty of other things to talk about. The outdoor Tropics in the UPSL with a big win over Winter Haven last Saturday, and they'll be home again April 17th. So plenty of Tropics soccer to talk about, and we will do that again next week. Until then, be well and be safe, everybody.